love the Lydian mode. It just gives me these feels that I could only really equate with, I don't know, it's like the same as like feeling nostalgia. There's something spacey about it, and maybe it just kind of reminds me of my younger days being really into sci-fi, and there's just whatever nostalgia is attached to that, I can just kind of hear with the Lydian mode. So that's kind of the mood that it gives me. So let's break down this Lydian mode in the key of E. Now we're obviously going to reference the major scale, right? That's the reference point, you know, for everything. So if we were to take the major scale, this is the cool thing about the Lydian mode, by the way, is it's essentially the major scale, but we change one note. So the first is the same, root note, right? The second is the same. So we have 7, 9 on A. The third is the same, major third, which is the 6th fret of the D string. And then here's what's going to be changed. We're going to raise the 4th. We're going to sharpen it. So normally if we have, right, we're going to take that 4th note, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to sharpen it. Oh, there it is. There is the Lydian right there. The 5th is the same. The 6th is the same, right? So the 5th was 9th fret of the D string, and the 6th is 6th fret of the G string, and then the 7th fret is the same, right? Or the 7th note is the same, which is the 8th fret on the G string, and then our octave on the 9th fret is the same. So if you were to think of it like do, re, mi, it's like do, re, mi, the fa is changed. So you're going, instead of going do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you're going do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That raised 4th is very cool, right? It gives you a really unique kind of tension. And it's the type of tension that in the context of the rest of the scale, essentially being the major scale, it's like we're only changing that one note, and yet the entire mood of it completely shifts. That's what's so cool about it. But that being said, you know, it's more about context. So I know I'm highlighting that one note, but it's like you don't want to overuse just that one note. You want to bring all the notes to bear when you're exploring musical ideas, because it all comes down to context, right? If you were to just sit there and play a root note and then a raised 4th, right, or a sharp 4, you know, it's like, okay, we get it, tension, right? But it's got to go somewhere. So that's where the other notes come in, you know, to kind of help, you know, paint more of a picture. So same deal. Let's wander a bit, right? So what I'm doing, and right there, I mean, it's pretty aimless, right? But this is just why wandering is pretty cool. You don't have to think too hard. Once you get comfortable with the actual pattern, right? Then just like pinpoint different notes, you know, within that pattern, in whatever kind of order you want. And then, oh, there was something right there I like. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I think it was something like that, right? That's pretty. Very musical, right? It doesn't sound like I'm exercising a scale. It sounds like I'm playing music. So in real time, you know, there you go. I just came up with that idea. This is exactly what I want you to do. And don't worry if in the beginning, you know, the way you wander through the scale is a little bit on the slow side, because you're still getting used to this finger pattern. I know I'm giving you kind of a quick crash course on these modes, but I'm telling you, you want to think of each of these little pretty bite-sized modes videos as places to start. And it's, in my opinion, over the years that I've learned and made mistakes and everything, I feel like it's the best place to start, just by getting your ear familiar with what it sounds like, what mood does it give you. So that way you have a better, you can make more of an informed decision on actually using it, rather than just thinking like, oh, okay, this is in the key of E, let me try E Lydian. You could do that, but I mean, this bypasses a lot of trial and error, because you'll already have a familiarity with the modes just by it being you and your guitar playing through them. And that way, when you're actually ready to use them in a real world musical situation, you'll be much more informed, like I said, and you'll know exactly what to do with it, rather than just like, let's just kind of try it, you know, just like shoot in the dark and see what happens. Of course, what I want you to do, you know, once we get through this series is now that you have that familiarity with the modes, this is just the starting point for you. Subsequently, as you start to learn more about them, you learn about how to find them on different spots on the fretboard, you learn about how to adapt them in different keys, you're already gonna have that foundational, fundamental understanding of their usage. So that way, when you expand on it, right? It's like if, you know, you finally learn how to use that bandsaw, right? Then you're like, okay, I'm ready to fill a whole tool shed with tools that I'll know exactly how to use, and then you'll actually be able to put all of them to use. So that's why I advise against learning modes like in the beginning just by reading about them and then learning every part on the fretboard where they're at. Because I cannot tell you how many times I've had people come to me and say, I know how to play every single mode in every octave on whatever all over the fretboard. Why can't I make it sound musical? So this is exactly what we're addressing. And if that's relevant to you, I just want you to know that that's exactly the thought process that went into these little bite-sized mini mode series that we're doing. So I'm getting you introduced to them in what I consider to be the proper way so that you actually know how to use them. Continuing on, right? Remember, the Lydian mode is just the major scale, the Ionian mode, right? With a raised fourth. So that raised fourth being that very tense note. Ooh, that sounds pretty. I like that a lot. Right there, what I was doing was, that's the third, right? 1, 2, 3. And then the seventh, and the fourth, the raised fourth. So that's 6th fret on D, 8th fret on G, 8th fret on D. It's pretty cool. It's a simple thing to play, but very pretty, and you really hear it, right? When I drone out that low E, it really comes out, you know? It's exactly why I want you to continue droning that low E when you're practicing each individual note. Again, that is how you get familiar with the tonality of each of these scales. And as we continue on with the series, in the next video, we're gonna be getting into the Lydian mode's close cousin, the Mixo-Lydian mode.